This is what it's all about. And we got just 60 minutes to find out who's going to win this ball game.
I need everybody eyes up. Let's take it back. Reflect real quick.
How good can this team be? I have no idea. I think real good.
There's something special going on.
Let's go!
I want to do something that's never been done. The defending champs are focused and ready to go.
As far as history goes, you look at teams that play for national championships, typically they're not picked 7th in their conference.
The magic continues for TCU.
60 minutes of hell, and that's the way we like it.
Georgia is going to survive and earn the right to defend their national championship in LA.
We are here, and it's a tale of two completely different programs. For the final game of the college football season, the TCU Horned Frogs looking for their first championship since 1938. New head coach, new starting quarterback, no problem, as they've made their way to Los Angeles to take on the defending champion, Georgia Bulldogs. And I mean, the Bulldogs are looking to become back-to-back champions. They have a guy, his opposite, Max Duggan's opposite, Stetson Bennett, their quarterback, proving the haters wrong, as well as that Georgia defense, who a lot of people doubted would be able to rebound from losing so many of their players last season. But guess what? They're here. They're back. Kirby Smart in the building. And so are we.
Yes, we
It's going to be a great day as we get you ready for the college football championship. That'll be kicking off in just about an hour. Welcome to Countdown to the College Football Playoff Championship. I mean, you guys, Christine Williamson, Harry Lyles Jr., Harry Douglas in the building. It is a beautiful day. We have a great championship coming up. How are you guys feeling? How are we feeling right now?
I'm excited, man. I mean, incredible venue that we're in. Two great teams, two great stories, right? I mean, I don't think us as fans could be mad with the outcome tonight.
Right.
Well, I need to say this. This is a wonderful venue, but I have been deceived by this venue. Watching it on TV, I thought it was covered. All aspects of this building. That is not the case, as we're sitting right in front of the wind tunnel.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to deal with the elements, as well as these players are going to have to deal with the elements. Not rain dropping on their heads, but wind coming through.
Listen, it feels so good outside. The amount of people that told me that I was going to be cold, I feel great, okay? It's a national championship day.
Hey, but that is a real thing, though. Like, you can see your breath down there on the field, right? Literally. We were just out there.
I was going to see if I can see it here. I can't. Anyways, all right. We like to start every single show with something that we call three big things. And they're the three things that we're looking forward to in the college football day, because there's only one day. All right, so we're starting with Georgia, looking to be the first repeat national champion since Alabama in 2011 and 2012. Now, since 1990, only two other schools have repeated as champs. It was Nebraska in 94-95 and USC in 2003 and 2004. Number two, TCU is looking to win their first national title since 1938. Sonny Dykes is looking to become the first head coach to win a title in their first season. Do you remember who did it?
Larry Coker, 2001.
Oh my goodness. Where was he? Was that University of Miami?
Yeah,
okay,
sure was.
Good. Just making sure everybody knows that, because I got to get my Miami in.
We almost got away.
Right.
There it is.
Number three is Georgia is the sixth team in the playoff era to make the playoff after winning the national title. No team has been successful defending their title, with 4 losses happening in the national championship game. So we're going to take a quick look at all of the teams that won the national championship. Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, they all took L's, whether it be in the national title game or in the semis. So, HD, I'm going to ask you this. What is the biggest obstacle facing Georgia from becoming the first repeat playoff CFP era champion?
I'm not even going to go with the biggest, and there are numerous of things that I could mention, but I think for this game, particularly how they started out in the semifinals against Ohio State, it wasn't fast. So I think it's very imperative that the Georgia Bulldogs start fast today against the TCU Horned Frogs. When you have teams like TCU TCU, right, that a lot of people aren't expecting to be right here in this championship game at this moment, the longer you let them stay around, the longer you let them linger, the more confidence they gain. Not saying that they're lacking confidence, but the more confidence that you give that football team to go out here and beat you.
Yeah, and you mentioned the fact that TCU hasn't been here. Lyles, I'm going to ask you this. What does TCU need to do in order to get a dub over Georgia?
You know, it's funny. I think in talking about this game, a lot of people would tell you that they have to be perfect. I don't think they got to be perfect tonight. TCU has been in these games all year where they have been up and down and up and down, and they've won games that we thought they had no business winning.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, there's two things that I think that they need to do. One, I think they need to be able to take those punches early and take them well. Don't show that you're shaking even if you are. And I think with this 3-3-5 defense, I think they need to be on their game. The thing with the 3-3-5 defense that's so different is it gives you so many different looks, even though it always looks the same when you come up against it.
Yeah.
If Stetson Bennett gets shaken by that, we've seen sometimes he could be a little bit mental with his game, where if he's feeling down, he doesn't always pick himself up. And you got to hope that if he does get down, this Georgia defense is able to pick him up. This defense has done that at times this year, and they've done it against Ohio State. But you can't do that in a national championship game because you're playing against a team that feels like they have nothing to lose. And that's the scariest thing that you could go up against.
Christine, I'll even add to this. When you look at a team like TCU, who capitalized off the mistakes that Michigan had in that semifinals game, if Georgia give them mistakes, this TCU team is going to capitalize.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Molly McGrath a little bit earlier about how TCU got ready for the championship. Holly Rowe is going to be talking about how Georgia got ready for the championship. But before we get to all of that, we have some other friends who are here with us, I believe.
We do.
Jason Fitz, Skubie, Hawk, are we here? What's going on, guys? How we doing?
What's hey, Christine, what's going on, Christine? We got this. Oh, Christine Williamson, by the way, she was throwing shade straight at me because I said that she said she would say she was cold. So she's putting on the front.
She got the guns out, too, unholstered.
I'm in like 5 layers, but no. Andrew Hawkins, Skubie Mageza, Jason Fitz taking over this side of this set. And boys, I want to talk about long shots. Something, frankly, Hawk, anyone that knows your story, make it in the NFL, like you know about long shots.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like TCU is a long shot at an epic level. We got some numbers here we'll throw up for you that shows that TCU started off this season 200-1 odds. 200-1 odds of winning the national championship. They were 5-7 last year. Only 3 teams in all of sports have won the 75-1 odds or worse. The Marlins, that might remind you also, they entered the season 75-1 odds to win the World Series. Came from 10 games under 500 to reach the postseason. Came behind in every playoff series, including the Cubs in the NLCS. Reminds you a little bit the way this is gone for TCU. They're not the only ones. That was 2003, obviously. Let's take it over to the NFL. The Rams lost starting quarterback Trent Green in the preseason. Turned things over to Kurt Warner. 151 odds to win. After all that, all they gave us was the greatest show on turf, an MVP, and a Super Bowl. I'm just saying.
That worked out for them.
Yeah, I think that went pretty well. In fact, if you're into the other kind of football, I'll take you all the way to 2015-16. Yeah, I'm not refined enough. Anybody who's got a British accent? I don't. One of the greatest long shots of all time. They put the pronunciation in here because what the hell do I know? Leicester City dodged relegation, entered the season with 5,000-1 odds. I wish I put my cash on that. So, obviously, this takes us to TCU. This takes us to this team and the long shots that they're facing. So, like, in the grand scheme of things, Skubie, what would a TCU championship mean for this sport?
When I think of TCU, one word comes to mind: believe. When you believe in yourself, when you believe in your coaches, when you believe in your support system, you can damn near accomplish anything. And when you look at this team, let's look back at the beginning of the season. They were picked 7th to finish in the Big 12, not even in the country. That's crazy. And they were 5-7 last year. Their quarterback, Max Duggan, wasn't the starting quarterback to start off the season, and he finishes off as a Heisman runner-up. They haven't won a championship in 83 years, and then you come in with a first-year head coach, Sonny Dykes, having to reset this whole program. When I think of your question, Fitz, what it would mean to the sport, it gives everybody hope. Hope that when this extends to a 12-team playoff, that you have the opportunity to do anything, even if the haters are saying you can't do it. I mean, it gives everybody faith.
Hawk, think about that. When we go to expansion, if TCU wins tonight, every year the conversation will be who can be this year's TCU.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of it. You talked about it. It absolutely plays into the sanctity, not only of sports and college football, but of all of us, right? Like, I think TCU has absolutely approached this with that underdog mentality, and it has driven them to get to this point. That belief in themselves, that belief that everybody is against them. Now, whether that's real or not, at this stage, it doesn't matter, right? Because being an athlete in sports is about that irrational belief. You cannot get to this point if you're TCU from 200 to 1 odds unless you have that irrational belief. And again, I love it. If it's fuel to them to get them to that national championship tonight, God bless them. But as far as we're concerned, there's probably a lot more people pulling for them than they realize because they are the underdog.
I mean, you say God bless them. I would say football gods have been blessing them all year. If you think about the fact that they let this whole playoff run come down to a wild 12 seconds left, no timeouts, get that kicker out there, kick a field, like all of it came down to that. I mean, that's the part of it to me that just, it's a game of inches, right?
Here's how it actualizes itself, right? Because when you're going through a long season, especially for these college players, you're seeing the ESPNs, you're seeing all the shows, and from the very beginning, when nobody believes in you, it makes you immune to all the conversation. So if you're wondering how they ride that wave all the way until they go knock off Michigan, it's because they don't care what the naysayers say because they never have. And it's going to continue tonight. They're approaching this game not like they're happy to be here. They believe they can win.
They're not just the underdogs, they're the underfrogs, because that's what I've been hearing.
Oh, look at that.
Going against
wait, when did you wrote that earlier this week, right? Like, you've been sitting with that, like.
But listen, that one, we've been watching the same teams in the CFP over and over and over again. We're tired of seeing the same teams, and it's about time that we get another team have an opportunity to win this. The underfrogs all day, great Cinderella story, and it gives us all hope.
Well, the question I keep being asked is, how did they win this game? Let's remember, it wasn't that long ago. Most of us didn't give them a chance in the Fiesta Bowl. Check out how they got here.
TCU, their Cinderella story, is taking on Michigan 13-0 for the first time in program history. Here comes Michigan on offense. Throws, and it's intercepted. Touchdown, TCU. Here's Duncan. Touchdown.
TCU has jumped out to a 2-score lead over Michigan. Tate Barber finds the end zone. What a first half it was for TCU.
We spotted him some points. That makes us mad, but we're going to go back to work. I know everybody's on the same page.
Back and forth they go here in the third quarter. After the highest scoring quarter in CFP history, 44 combined points.
They go Statue of Liberty, hand off to Roman Wilson. He helicopters into the end zone. Michigan has come from 19 down to make this a 3-point game.
Huge third down and 7 here. Quentin Johnston has the first down, and off he goes. The magic continues for TCU.
Michigan down to their last gasp.
On to the next. I don't see no content.
4th and 10, bad snap. TCU is going to pull off the stunning upset.
Couldn't be more proud of you guys. The great thing is we get to go do it again in 10 days.
So we did see Kendre Miller, the running back for TCU, warm up. He said he was going to make his decision after warming up and make a game-time decision, but how huge would it be if he returned for the Horned Frogs?
Well, it'd be huge if he was 85, 90%.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be that. He literally just said, and I was able to work media day, that he was 50%.
Yeah.
You can't go out here and play the national championship at 50%.
Yeah. No.
Now, the flip side of that is that Emery DeMarcado did a great job filling in. Literally the cliche that coaches use, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's what that young man did in the semifinals game with 17 carries, 150 yards, and 1 touchdown. He was ready for the moment and showed up and showed out.
All right.
And look, I mean, if that's somebody that you don't feel good about in terms of what they're able to do as an athlete, when you are going up against a team that, if we're being honest, they probably got the best athletes in the country, right?
Yeah.
Just up and down their roster, even their next man up, right? So the fact that you got what you got out of his backup last game, you got to hope for that this one. You don't want somebody out there that's not going to be able to actually give you something in a game where you need it the most.
Right. All right. So we want to talk about this matchup a little bit more with some people that are going to be on the sideline. I actually got to catch up with Holly Rowe earlier today. All right, guys, here with Holly Rowe, who will be on the Georgia sideline for this matchup this evening. Holly, I want to start with tight end Darnell Washington. Obviously, he has that ankle injury. What's the latest on his status?
Yeah, I was actually able to talk to Darnell about it, and it is a soft tissue injury. It's a low ankle sprain. He said that he's been doing some running, but in the pool, not weight bearing, and he should be good to go in this game. The question is, how much can he play? I think it's a really big deal for him to be on the field because about 60% of Georgia's formations are run with multiple tight ends. So it's like their system. Right. He needs to be out there. And nothing against his backup, but it is a significant drop off. So I think it's important. But here's the other reason I think he's going to play tonight. His mom, Katrina, has never seen him play in person since he's gone to Georgia. She's from Las Vegas. It's a long trip. So Mom Katrina will be here with his sister to see him play in person for the first time in a Georgia uniform. So if that was me, I would be out like, my legs gonna have to be dragging off. Like,
it's the last
Mom,
game of the season.
I'm out here for you. So that's what I think. That's that's my tip.
Might as well make it work.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Georgia, right?
Yes.
They've been here before. They were here last season, right? What did the final preparations for them look like as they prepared for the championship game?
Yeah, Kirby Smart is like a master at motivation. I've been so impressed with how I see him message to his team. And so yesterday, they actually had a big team meeting with everybody with a team sports psychologist, Drew Bannon. And the message was a video of Kobe Bryant during the Redeem Team documentary. And it's this clip of Kobe Bryant running through Pau Gasol's chest to make a play. And kind of the message to that was, you have to do whatever it will take to win the game. Pau Gasol was a teammate of Kobe's, a friend of Kobe's, someone he would need in the future playing together at the Lakers, and Kobe didn't care. In that moment, all that mattered was winning the game, doing whatever it took to win the game. And so that is the final message that the Georgia Bulldogs got yesterday, and it kind of gave me chills thinking about it. Like, we're in LA, not far from where the Lakers used to play, you know, and Kobe's message of do what it takes, leave no doubt that you are the champions. I think that's kind of cool.
I love that so much. Holly, of course, so excited to see you on the sideline.
Yes.
We'll see how the game turns out.
I am not going to run through your chest right now, though. Like, I'm not going to do it.
Thank you, because we're on the same team. We're on the same team right now.
We are on the same team. Okay.
Thanks, Holly.
Thanks.
All right, so Stetson Bennett warming up for his squad, about 43 minutes to kick off. How huge would it be if Stet got Darnell Washington back on the field today?
Well, I'm going to say this. His mama has never seen him play.
He better be out there.
See, most people say his mother, his mom. No, his Ma Dukes. His Ma Dukes is in the building.
That's true.
That's enough motivation for that young man to go out there and ball out. But it's very, very key for Georgia and what they want to do offensively. That's run a lot of two tight end sets, especially rushing the football. But both of those guys, Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington, they can catch the football as a tight end, as a receiver. You have a freshman, though, Oscar Delp. If Darnell Washington is hampered and slowed up a little bit, that's another guy just waiting in the wings to ball out.
And, bro, if it's Ma Dukes, he's going to tough it out. He's going to be out there. Okay? He's going to be out there. But look, to me, the thing that they really need him out there for is run blocking.
That's right.
Right? Because, I mean, we talk about Brock Bowers as like this, smaller Gronk type of tight end, and obviously Darnell Washington is able to do that too. But when you have him out there in that run game, he's like another offensive lineman, because we were talking about a man that's, 6'7", however many pounds. Like, that is a big human being.
Than a lot of teams' offensive linemen.
Like, he moves like that can move weight.
Wide receiver, bigger wide receiver body type dude. But at the point of attack, like you mentioned, Harry, it's very, very key. Getting his hands inside the pads of defensive ends and driving them. So he's going to be very key to what they want to do, Georgia.
All right, key to the broadcast on the other side of the sideline is Molly McGrath. I caught up with her earlier, too. All right, guys, now we're here with Molly McGrath, who will be on the sideline for TCU this evening for the championship game. Now, TCU, I mean, we've talked about it, right? Nobody expected them to be here. They haven't been here before. The last time they won a championship was in 1938. Max Duggan, Sonny Dykes' first season. I mean, this is a lot going into this matchup. Is this stage too big for this TCU team?
Well, it's the perfect Cinderella story, right? Everyone who doesn't follow college football, who might be watching the game tonight, has to root for TCU because this is a true underdog story. And you ask, is this stage too big for TCU? The answer is no, and I say that after spending time with head coach Sonny Dykes last night. His level of calm is unbelievable. And in speaking with Max Duggan, he said that the night before the championship game felt just like the night before their week 1 matchup against Colorado. They've kept everything the same all week long. Nothing is different. There were no inspirational speeches, no motivational videos. They didn't want to make this feel bigger than what it is. It's a football game at the end of the day, you know, and they've been able to win tough football games all season long. So they truly have confidence that they can win this game. They believe that they belong here, even though other people might not.
Right.
And it starts with Sonny Dykes, but it also is Max Duggan as well. He is the calmest, coolest dude, so unassuming. When you meet with him, you'd have no idea that he's a quarterback about to play in a national championship game. And one of the reasons why he's so confident is because he believes in the power of visualization. Like, you've heard of people doing meditation and things like that before games. He's big on the power of visualization. So last night before bed, and then today on the bus on the way to SoFi Stadium, he's going to sit with his eyes closed and he's going to visualize his game plan against Georgia. He's going to see himself reading Georgia's defense. He's going to see himself completing passes. He's going to envision what he does at the goal line in the fourth quarter. And he said because of his preparation, the things that he visualizes actually come true. And so he has this calm confidence to him because he's been preparing for this moment. And he said, you know, when he walks into this stadium, it's not going to feel too big because he's been visualizing it for weeks now to be on this stage. And the entire team goes as he goes. And he's the kind of guy who just does not get rattled. Doesn't matter if they're down late in the fourth quarter, he's going to fight and claw and scratch and try to get his team this win today.
So people like to say that TCU hasn't been here before, but apparently Max Duggan has been here, ready for the stage. Molly, of course, ready to see you on the sideline.
Yeah, thank you, Christine.
Thanks. All right, here is the kid, Max Duggan, warming up for his Horned Frogs today. As I mentioned, I mean, he has that visualization, like Molly said. Harry, Lyles, what are you expecting to see out of this TCU offense tonight?
We're going to have to see that young man, Max Duggan, run. But the other thing that they are really going to need to go in their favor is the big plays, the chunk plays. One of the things that Max Duggan does better than any other quarterback in the country is hit the deep ball. I believe it's when it's 20 yards or greater. The national average is 38% completion percentage. That young man is at 48%. If they're able to get that against the Georgia defense that we saw have trouble last week against Ohio State and covering the deep ball, that could be very beneficial for them this week.
And I think for me, that's very imperative for TCU today. But I think Sonny Dykes mentioned something at media day. He said being balanced. Even though, you know, Georgia has had those blimps against LSU and Ohio State in the secondary, he said he doesn't want them to be one-dimensional. And then next thing you know, the pass rush of Georgia, those guys, he just tee back and pin their ears back and go sack the quarterback. So remain in balance, even if you're just gaining 1 or 2 yards, 3 yards here, remain balanced so you're not one-dimensional and Georgia can take advantage of that.
Harry, Lyles, earlier you mentioned TCU's 3-3-5 defense. What do you expect to see out of them tonight?
I think the guys that are really going to be the big players that you see in this game are going to be the linebackers. A lot of what makes that defense so confusing is because you have no idea what they're going to do. To make it very simple for the people at home, I do the Thursday night broadcast with Matt Barry and Lewis Riddick. We always let Lewis just go on the defense, right? Because Lewis is a great mind, knows the game better than anybody else, and he will tell you that 3-3-5 defense is confusing for everybody to go up against. So if you see Georgia looking like they are uncertain of themselves offensively, that is why. That is absolutely the reason why.
Yeah, when you look at their linebackers on defense, I think it's the best group on that defense for TCU.
100%.
2 guys that I think are going to play major roles today that played a major role in their last game. Dallin Horton, he had 4 sacks in that ball game. Those 3 down linemen, it's very important that those guys stand their ground, eat up those blocks that allows those linebackers to now shoot gaps and make those plays. And then D. Winters had a phenomenal game, had a pick 6 against Michigan. They're going to have to be very, very active today because Georgia is going to try to run the football.
All right. Obviously, as we've mentioned like 17 million times, this is TCU's first time in the CFP final, in CFP in general. Now, their mascot, a horned frog. It's a real animal. So since we're in LA, we went to the LA Zoo to go check out what exactly they look like. Take a look.
The mascot for TCU, called the horned frog, is actually a horned lizard. It's a unique creature in many ways. It's the only animal that we know of that can actually squirt blood from its eyes as a defense mechanism. if you take a look at it, I mean, it looks more like a dinosaur skeleton than anything else. There's no other lizard like it really in the world. Oftentimes animals will try to feed on them and die in the process. They'll get stuck trying to swallow the animal because of all the horned scales on them. So if a bulldog tried to eat a horned lizard, I'd say that'd probably end up in mutual destruction. The bulldog would probably win, but you never know. See, that whole blood squirting behavior that I explained to you actually has a pheromone in it that repels canids, dogs, and coyotes in particular. So I would imagine that the horned frog or the horned lizard would use that blood squirting to help push back the bulldog in some way.
You are looking live at SoFi Stadium as we are getting set for the national championship game. TCU taking on Georgia in the ultimate David versus Goliath. Georgia. We're getting you set up, caught up, I should say, and set for everything that's going to happen tonight. And our Wolfpack is growing by 1 on set. We're going to bring in random guests throughout the course of the show. It's one of the coolest things of being here. All the people that are here. Ryan McGee joining us.
What's happening?
Doing great.
I got my NASCAR hearing, so y'all gonna have to yell because I can't hear y'all up there.
Speak up for you. See that?
I appreciate it.
That's why we gave you this. See, we got these sticks because we're nothing but professionals up here. On one side of the stick, you'll find a dog. Woo, woo. Anybody bark? No, okay, that's just me. Thanks. On the other side, you got a frog.
Ribbit.
Thank you so much. All right. Oh, man, there we go. So I'm gonna pose a question to the group, and you're gonna have to decide dog or frog. All right. So we got this. So for example, first question: who's gonna be better tonight in the fourth quarter? Which of the quarterbacks, Duggan or Bennett? Who you got? Fourth quarter.
Give it to you first, McGee.
Oh. He goes frog. We got a frog.
Ribbit.
Are any of my SEC Network bosses watching right now? I hope not. Yeah.
I don't think so.
All right, why?
Well, listen, I was talking to TCU about this. Stetson Bennett takes at least 1 quarter off. It's weird, you know. Now, good for them, it was the 3rd quarter last week. But the reality is, if Max Duggan doesn't get hurt in the Big 12 championship game, they win that football game. So he's so tough that, you know, he can take a licking to keep on ticking.
And he plays hard late in games.
Right.
So I see Georgia getting out in front, TCU surging back, and a lot of that's going to be on the backs of Max Duggan.
You know what? You just talked me into it. I'm going to go frog because I'm not even sure Stetson Bennett's still going to be in this game by the 4th quarter. How you like that? How you like that? Okay.
Listen,
wow.
I feel like there's really no wrong answer to this question just because when you look back the whole season, Max Duggan has been performing in the 4th quarter, multiple double-digit comebacks, but then for Stetson Bennett, I look back to last week, 10 for 12, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, perfect passer rating in the 4th quarter, and then that was his career high. You look back, what was his previous career high before that? The SEC championship last year versus Alabama. So that tells me this guy is ready to play in the big moments in the 4th.
All right, next question. More total yards in this game. Brock Bowers, Quentin Johnston. So we got the unblockable.
Let's not reveal it. The reveal.
I bet against Brock Bowers.
Okay, that's fair.
First of all, Brock Bowers looks like he's 47 years old. I never bet against Brock Bowers.
I like it. I'm going to go with Johnston. He, outside of Jalen Carter, he is the most talented player on the field tonight, and I think he's going to have a matchup problem against Georgia. They're used to playing man-to-man, one-on-one against these guys. You can't do that with Johnston. If they do, he's going to go off.
I got to agree with you, Hawk. I'm going to go with the Fiesta Bowl offensive MVP, 6 catches, 163 yards, and remind you that he had 110 of those yards after the catch. Quentin Johnston is going to be an NFL receiver, a first-round NFL receiver. And for TCU to win this game, he has to have a big game. I think Georgia can still win this game with Brock Bowers having a mediocre game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Johnston all the way. Big plays for him coming. All right, which team will force more turnovers in the game, dogs or frogs? What do you got? Dog. All right, we got dog. We got...
Are we in agreement here?
No, I'm going to go dog. I'm going dog.
So, clearly this is a conspiracy. I've been voted against 3-1 on every single thing we've done.
We're keeping things interesting. Yeah. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, but no, it just Stetson Bennett is prone to mistakes.
Yes.
And the reality is that we learned last week because of Quentin Johnston's numbers, if Max Duggan has a half a second, he's good.
I'm not sure that's the case with Stetson Bennett. I'm not saying they're going to lose the game, but I'm saying that I think he'll turn it over more.
Okay, so now, Hawk, we'll let you go first on this one. The next question, which coach would you rather have tonight for this one game? Kirby Smart or Sonny Dykes?
I'm going Frog on this one, too.
Oh, I like that. That's an upset.
I love the fact, the way that he built this team, right? The Dogs are super talented.
It's amazing.
They're 5 stars. Sonny Dykes is able to see the talent that his guys have, put them in position. He's went and got some transfers. Even him going to Duggan after first, choosing Morris, that says a lot about who this coach is. He has them motivated, and I'm excited for him.
I love Sonny Dykes. But been there, done that. It's been there, done that. We had Nick Saban on Marty McGee, and he was talking about it's kind of, it's his protege, right? It's his Padawan. He's trained him, and Kirby Smart does not look around. He'll know what it's going to be like when the game starts. As great as Sonny Dykes is, and I love the man, he has no idea what this is going to be like when that game starts.
The biggest difference, Georgia, this year versus any other year is the fact that they've been there, done that. They have a different swagger. Let's get one more in. Most big plays, 50-plus yards in this game. Dogs or Frogs?
You got to go with the team that leads the country in 50-plus yardage plays, right? And that is TCU.
No, we don't.
Go Frogs! Go Frogs! Oh, we're all in on Frogs.
Rip
it by 4.
Look,
there we go.
That's absolute peer pressure. Ryan McGee, thanks for hanging out with us, my friend. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
You know, speaking of hanging out, Christine Williamson had the opportunity to hang out with Saweetie. Check it out.
Okay, Saweetie, obviously, we're here at the AT&T Playoff Playlist. You're performing tonight. It's a big deal. It's a championship game. How important and fun and exciting is it for you to be able to perform tonight?
It's super fun because, I'm a college girl. I went to the University of Southern California. Fight on. So it's fun. I love being in LA. I love supporting the college kids, so I'm just happy to be here.
Okay. By the way, Caleb Williams, the quarterback for USC, best dressed player in the game. Just FYI, if you don't know, now you know.
Best dressed.
Okay, so obviously, like you know, Georgia, TCU. Do you have a prediction for this game?
I predict that USC will be at the championships next year. I know that's right.
They should have been at the championship this year. I'm not going to lie. I had them in the championship this year. It didn't work out, but it's fine. Okay, so you have an album coming out, Pretty Bitch Music. It's for us. What can you tell me about the album?
Still working on it. I'm going to drop like little projects that lead back up to the album because I took a year off, and I think that got some exciting stuff.
Okay. We're excited about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, girl.
Okay, Todd McShay joining us now, and this is, I feel like this is the first time that we've had you on the show.
Yes.
We're talking Pretty Bitch Music. While we were off camera, we were dancing. How are you feeling that you get to join us and all of the chaos?
I'm thrilled. I love it. I think it's amazing. This is quite a scene you guys got up here.
We have
You have a little bit of fun.
We have a really, really good time. Okay, so let's talk about this Georgia team, right?
Yep.
I mean, we know that the Georgia defense is amazing. Last season, they were the first school in NFL draft history to have 5 defensive players drafted in the first round, 15 total selections, and obviously we know what their defense is doing this season. What do you see when it comes to the next level of talent?
Well, Jalen Carter was the best defensive lineman on the defense last year, and we have 2 first-rounders from that last year's group. So it tells you what he is. He wasn't healthy most of the season. When he got healthy after coming back from the ankle injury, he was the most dominant defensive player in the country. It was fun to watch. Like when you see potential and you know what it can be, and then you finally see it come through. Jalen Carter, he's a special player. He truly is. And he's going to be a headache tonight. Ohio State did a really good job of any time they wanted to throw the ball or do anything down the field, they double teamed him, shifted protection, moved the pocket, whatever they had to do. So it'll be interesting to see what TCU does tonight. They love the short game. They like the quarterback run. I don't think they're going to be able to have long drives. To me, the big key for TCU tonight is get those chunk plays. And that's going to come down, I think, to Quentin Johnston more so than anything. But they have other receivers. But Quentin Johnston, to me, is the most special skill player in this game outside of probably Brock Bowers.
And with this Georgia team, they might win their second consecutive national championship. We don't see that often. And a lot of people feel like this Georgia team, if they're able to accomplish that, they could be the new standard of college football. From your perspective, do you feel like they're at a place with their roster where they're able to, just next class, like the guys that we're going to see on the field for Georgia next year, NFL guys?
Absolutely. And that to me, if you want to be Alabama, you got to lose 12 guys to draft 5 first-rounders, and then all of a sudden come back the next year and be right there at the top. It really, that was the difference with USC during their stretch run, right? It was every year losing 4 or 5 first-rounders, 12 guys to the draft. Clemson did it for a couple of years, but they're struggling to reload. So Georgia right now, because of their recruiting, player development, and the way they're kind of pulling the team together and getting everyone motivated, that's the reason that they're here. And I truly believe Georgia is the new Alabama.
Todd, you talked about all those guys that can get drafted in the first round and potentially the second round in the 2023 NFL draft. But what about other guys that are eligible for 2024, 2025 when you look at this Georgia roster?
Yeah, Brock Bowers. I mean, Michael Mayer is going to be the first tight end drafted coming out of Notre Dame this year. Could be a top 10 pick, probably somewhere 10 to 20, right? And tight ends don't typically go that high. Brock Bowers doesn't look anything like Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer looks like a third-year NFL player playing at college right now. Brock Bowers is like, what, 6'3 and a half, 230 pounds? I don't care. I don't care what he runs. I don't care about his size. This dude knows how to get open, and his run after catch, and that's the hardest thing for tight ends to find. Guys who can actually create after the catch, he's special.
Well, Todd, he's running past defensive backs at the second level when he gets free.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not normal.
No, it's not normal.
No, not for a guy his size.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
I love it.
All right, so when can we expect your next mock draft to come out?
Oh, I don't know. Ask Kuiper. He's the one he's always putting together the schedule. I just had one like 2 weeks ago. So I think you know what? It's February, right after the Super Bowl. That's
okay, perfect. Yeah. Perfect. So look out for that. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And all the chaos that we have going on.
I'm looking forward to the Todd versus Mel on ESPN. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming soon.
That'll be good. That'll be good. Georgia fans definitely rung in the new year in a very, very good way. Right at midnight, take a look.
The game comes down to this. Noah Ruggles, a transfer, graduate from North Carolina. Snap, hold, kick. No! No! He missed it! Left! The bench explodes! It's midnight! Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Is that no!
How does it sound if we see you next week at the national championship?
If you would have told me that when we were down, whenever we were down in the fourth, I would have been like, you are crazy. Yeah, well, we'll see you there.
Thank you.
I mean, if you think they were excited, you should see the fans around here. They're just walking by the set because we just added some star power. I'm just saying, we're looking down live on the field right now. TCU getting ready. Stanford Steve, I'm not even kidding. Bunch of TCU fans walk by that have obviously been partaking, and they were trying to get you to shake their hand. They're like, you're a rock star.
It feels like a lot of thirsty people are quenching their thirst already, and we haven't even started the game yet.
Well, a lot of people are thirsty for your thoughts. We're going to play a little bet it or regret it here, okay? So I'm going to give you a number. You tell me if it's something that you think you should bet it or regret it. We'll start with Stetson Bennett over half and an interception. Picks in 5 of 14 games. He doesn't throw a lot of them.
I think you bet that one. I think you bet it. I think both quarterbacks are going to come out really fired up. You saw it with Duggan in the first half of the game. And I think Duggan, I know we're talking about Stetson Bennett, but I put Stetson in this category too. You come out amped up. You want to make throws early, right? You want to make those plays. I think if he does, he's going to throw one early. I'd say bet over a half interception.
Oh, yeah, I'm all over that. And if I wasn't in California, I would have gone on my phone and placed that bet.
You've been checking your phone all week, too.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, California, step up.
I think they're going to rely heavily on the run game against this 3-3-5 defense. And although Bennett did throw 2 picks against Mississippi State, who runs a similar defense, I think they're going to go more to that 3-headed monster and ground and pound and be able to be safe with the ball.
It's that 3-3-5 that makes me say bet it, because it takes one time that he reads somebody coming in, they drop back.
He's going to force it, man. He's been forcing it a lot lately.
Yeah, so now we'll look at the other quarterback, Max Duggan, over 230 and a half passing yards. So he had 235 against Michigan.
I say bet the over here. I think it's the only way to win. I think they're going to struggle to run the ball. I don't think Kendrick Miller is going to give them much. And like I said, Sam Duggan will be the first person to tell you he has to play better than he did in the Fiesta Bowl.
all his depots early were overthrows. He even threw a couple out of bounds.
Yeah.
You know, so I think Sam, they're going to want the ball in his hands. So I say over. 233.5.
They got to win this game throwing the ball.
Yeah.
And that's one way you got to get this in this game. You got to feed Quentin Johnson. Max Duggan's going to use his legs to create more time. We got to go with the over here.
I'm betting it as well. They got Johnson on the outside. This Georgia defense has given up a lot of pass yards in the last 2 weeks, specifically in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
And the Georgia defense does a great job of making you one-dimensional. And the TCU Horned Frogs are going to have to throw the ball. He's going to go well over 230.
I also think if you look back, not just at the last game, but TCU over the course of the season, Duggan's a lot more athletic than people realize. Absolutely. He moves really well. The longer he moves around to stop from going down, the more it's going to put pressure on those corners.
Was a track star in high school.
Cover guys for
state
9
track.
seconds.
Yes.
I was in Iowa for state track. State track, high school kid. I was there. I saw Duggan tearing it up. He got some legs.
Look at that. All right, Kenny McIntosh, only 5 carries in the semifinal.
Yeah.
The number is 60.5. Under it. Better regret.
I think it's under because of that number. He only got 5 carries. They love giving the ball to multiple guys in this offense. As you said, Hawk, they're going to try and run the football. I think that's a lot. You saw the turf monster got him in the Peach Bowl, or else he would have been way over that number. But again, it's only 5 carries. I think he gets more damage, it does more damage, and gets more yards through the pass game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That 3-3-5, we talked about it, and people forget that's 6 guys in the box, which does make it a little more difficult to run the ball. So I'm hitting the under here as well.
Okay. I'm going under as well. They're going to spread it out, right? Edwards, Milton, McIntosh. Everyone's going to be getting carries. It's going to be hard for them to hit that number.
Feels like Monken likes that empty formation, too.
Absolutely.
By the way, can we just acknowledge how many people will trip moving to their sofa tonight, and then they'll make fun of an athlete for tripping out the field? I'm just saying, all right, total touchdowns in this game, 7.5. Better to regret it.
So that's 49.
7.5?
7.5. Oh, under. I think this is an under game. The total's around 64. I think it's an under game. I don't think TCU scores 30, so therefore I'm going to go under that. I'll say under 7.5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was looking at this and I saw the total for this game and I was immediately like, I'm hammering that under because everyone watched the semifinal games and they're like, oh, we're going over the whole college football playoff. But when you look at Georgia as well, they usually run that 12 personnel 60% of the time. Darnell Washington, what's it going to be like with their offense? And then Kendre Miller, what's it going to be like with their offense? Let's go with the under here.
I root for fun.
I was waiting for that.
Damn receivers. You receivers.
The 2 of the best offenses in the country. They're both loaded with players. I know they have good, fast defenses, but they're scoring points tonight.
All I know is I said going into the semifinal, you don't want to get into a shootout with TCU. Michigan made too many mistakes to avoid that. Georgia won't. I take the under on this one. All right, I'm just putting this in for me. Pentatonics is doing the national anthem. Over/under on a minute or 110 seconds. Just under 2 minutes.
Just under 2 minutes. You got to go under.
All right,
got to go under. 2 minutes feels like a long, long time.
I'm cutting everybody off. I'm going to preach it. You get a minute and a half, all right? I played the anthem in a bunch of football games in my life. You get a minute and a half. If you go over a minute and a half, you better give me Marvin freaking Gaye. If you're not changing my life with your national anthem and you go over 2 minutes, you're making it about you, not the game. All right, go ahead. And any other anthem?
I'm going
I defer.
It's too many people.
It's too cold. It's too cold.
Pentatonics is going to get out there and do all these like fun little licks. Right? I think they're going to go over, but I think they should go under. What was your biggest, we're starting 2023.
Yeah.
What was your biggest betting regret of 2022?
It was very simple. We're sitting at the game last year. We're doing prop bets on game day and champ drive and the whole thing. Stetson Bennett, 12.5 rush yards, right? I'm like, oh, over. He's going to scramble, whatever. First play of the game. Here it is. Sack, loss of 14 yards. Guess how well that bet did. At least it wasn't painful. I didn't have to sweat it or anything.
At least you knew you were out early.
Right off the get. So that was an easy one. Thanks for getting that video. I appreciate that.
That's hilarious.
You know, here's the one thing I'd say. We all watch you. Half of us text you for advice. Knowing that you get your ass kicked every once in a while makes me feel a little bit. I'm just going to be honest.
You can't be the guy that says you get everything right. That doesn't exist. We all know that. If you're in it long enough, you're going to get some bad ones. There's no doubt about it.
All right. One thing I know is that Stanford Steve's always going to make you smarter. Elle Duncan's always going to make you smarter, but sometimes Elle is also going to take you to church. She did last year when it came to Georgia. Check this out.
I'm talking to you, Georgia fans. You're tired of me barking on television. You're
you're tired of me making an ass of myself everywhere I go, I'm going to do this in honor of all of the black churches in Atlanta.
Yes.
I need my brother Stetson Bennett to play better than he's ever played in his life. Good God, Lord. We need you in the name of Jesus. This is our time.
Yes, it is.
Go, Dogs.
Yes, it is.
Sick 'em.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I don't know what to call you, I feel like. Our resident Georgia Bulldog preacher, Elle Duncan, now joining us once again, and we love this. I feel like we just want to let you go. Last year, that's basically, I think I asked you a question, and you just kind of went off.
Yeah,
So what do you have to say today?
Well, a year later when I watched that video, I think, wow, that girl started tailgating early. I also, I know you guys expect me to come on here and act a donkey mess. And that's what you have learned that I will do.
Yeah.
But Harry, as someone from Georgia, the Harrys. Harrys, I feel like last year we really jumped a huge hurdle. We finally won for the first time in 40 years. We beat Alabama, and nothing will be as sweet. And so if you think that I'm going to come on here and give some stupid message, you're absolutely right. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to talk about this thing called a national championship. Electric word, this thing, a national championship. It means forever, and that's a very long time. But I'm here to tell you there's something else.
No, she's not.
A repeat champion. That's 2 in the year. That's 2 in a row.
It ain't one.
And I'm just letting you know right now that if God should see fit to let us, the Georgia Bulldogs, those who went 40 years without one, if he should see fit to let us go back to back, double your pleasure, double your fun. If he should want that for us, I should want that for you. It's great to be a Georgia Bulldog. And so, Lord, I'm just asking you right now, as you look down upon us from rainy Southern California, because who would have called that? I want you to look upon us here in Inglewood and say one thing. I want you to say, it's great to be a Georgia Bulldog. Say, it's great to be a Georgia Bulldog. How about them dogs? Let's go!
That's what I'm talking about.
Wow, I don't know what just happened, but it was great.
I got to take it back to Georgia.
Can we sing? I don't know if we can sing the song.
We ready.
Okay.
For y'all. Hey, we ready. Hey.
Listen, I'm not singing it, so if we get fined, it's not me, it's them.
Listen, all I want to know, Christine, is are you ready to knock if you buck?
Oh, always.
Because if you ain't scared, say you never scared.
I'm never scared.
I ain't never scared. I ain't never scared. I ain't never
Okay,
scared.
guys. So obviously, it would be huge if Georgia wins. Again, what are you gonna do though? If they win tonight, what does it look like for you after the game?
I'm gonna be real with you. I lost my voice last year at this very natty.
Right.
I lost my voice and had to miss 3 days of work. I had like multiple rounds of steroids just to get me fit again to be on television.
Oh wow.
I had said earlier this week that's not gonna happen again. Like TCU, great story, repeating as champions, that's awesome. But like it's not Alabama. It's not gonna feel quite the same, right? It's not 40 years we were just there. I'm happy to report that my voice is currently hanging by a freaking thread. So, in summation, if we win, you may or may not see me doing sign language on SportsCenter tomorrow. Tune in and see.
I would love to see that. That sounds great. It sounds amazing. Well, Elle,
we love you so much. Thanks for always having me and indulging me. And I know you guys have to pretend like you're being impartial, which is why you're wearing a peanut butter suit and you're wearing gray. But we all know what you guys think. We all know how you really feel. And with that, I just want to say, go Dogs from the Harrys and me, and also Christine, because she just rides for me no matter what.
That's true. That's true. We love you a lot.
She's a DGD. Love you guys so much, and go Dogs.
Bye. Harry has some high thoughts for us. Check this out.
Justin, this is a little game of this or that. And the hat was a dead giveaway, so I'm giving TCU the natty. Okay. But that means you have to give up golf. You can never play again. What are you taking, this or that?
TCU natty.
Which means you can never, ever, ever, ever pull out the clubs with the boys ever again.
That's all right. I don't care. It might never happen again in history, so
That's a devoted fan. Hey, a couple more questions. This is high thoughts. I'm going to ask you some questions that really don't have answers. Like this, for example. Why when we're standing right side up, our blood doesn't rush to our feet? But when we hang upside down, the blood rushes straight to our heads.
I can't confirm either of those are true. I mean, I would assume it rushes to our feet more than you think. We just can't feel it as much as it rushes towards our head.
There's really no answer.
I wish I had a witty answer for you on that one. I just don't.
All right, well, this is my last question because you got the homies waiting for you. Spell this sound. That's an elephant trunk. Spell that.
PHWESHHHH.
Fuchsia. Fuchsia. There's just
take the abbreviation with the whatever and then spit a little.
Sound it out. Thanks, Justin. What the hell is that? What the hell? Hey, what's that brown mark on the back of those?
I've been eating a little too many Cheetos, man. No,
All right, the band is out on the field. As you see, everybody's getting hyped. The stadium is filling up. We are getting closer and closer to kickoff, and there is one thing I am sure of after tonight. There is only one thing I'm sure of. I'm going to text the producers of Fitz and Harry, the incredible ESPN radio show you can listen to Monday through Friday, noon to 3 p.m. Eastern across ESPN radio. And I'm going to tell them to make sure they get Elle Duncan talking about a peanut butter suit.
Oh, my God.
Because that is going to run for the rest of time on Fitz and Harry. I can promise you, Harry Douglas is going to hear about the peanut butter suit all day tomorrow.
Oh, my Lord. Harry Douglas is extremely clean.
Oh, yeah.
Casket sharp, number one. I am very happy Elle went to their set, not our set. Because I don't have the confidence or security in myself for her to take shots at me. I would have cried.
Elle is just like guns blazing anytime she comes on a set. You might get hit, you might not. Friendly fire is a possibility.
No, he's super clean. He's so fresh.
But we all know, if you know Harry, you know he takes pride in that clean, right? Like he takes pride in all of that. Right now, deep down inside, I'm gonna have to hug him.
Only Elle could take a shot at someone so fresh.
Only Elle can give L's.
She's the queen of the L's.
Elle obviously rooting for Georgia in this game. I think it's interesting because we saw two different semifinals last week. We saw a semifinal against Michigan for TCU where Michigan made a ton of mistakes. TCU capitalized on them. I think that's important.
Yeah.
But then we saw a Georgia semifinal where they had to take every punch from an Ohio State team that came out fired up. To me, the biggest difference in this game between those semifinals is Michigan made mistakes. Michigan struggled in the beginning against that 3-3-5 defense. I'm not sure Georgia struggles the same way.
Exactly. And when you look at that game, hey, there's Gary.
There's Gary!
I just had to do that from after this segment. But going back to what you said, that the Michigan team struggled a lot and made a lot of mistakes. When you got a young quarterback like J.J. McCarthy having to read that 3-3-5 defense, it brings up a lot of difficulties, which is why they made a lot of mistakes. And then some of the play calls they made. How are you running the Philly special on the 1-yard line?
Hey,
I don't think Kirby Smart is going to make the same mistake.
Fitzy, what the hell y'all talking about? Sorry, I missed this last 56 minutes. That's my bad. But then this is a big ass stadium, and I took every stare. I took every stare.
Wait, you're Gary Streisky. Didn't somebody give you like a piggyback ride or something?
That's crazy.
Nah, man.
Talking about the national championship games going on.
Oh, there's a game tonight?
Yeah, man.
Oh, I just thought this was like a party. There's mad celebrities on the field. I just thought I got invited to the party and they sent out the wrong invite.
Wait, we got to get you the little dogs or frog stick. Which fan base? You were just out with the people, right?
Yeah.
Which fan base was maybe more inebriated? Which
inebriated?
Inebriated. Which one part took more?
Well, I talked to a couple frogs and they take that hypno frog thing pretty serious.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was the liquid or something else that might be legal here in the state of California, but let's just say that hypno-toe was definitely hypnoing. You know what I mean?
Hypnotized. Let me tell you a little something.
From the most.
TCU. They were vibing, bro. Yeah. Georgia's cool, but they're like chill. They've been here before. TCU's like, yo,
we don't know if we'll ever be there.
Hell, this is it. This is it.
It's
TCU was vibing. vibing for sure. It's been great. But no, seriously, great to be back up here with you guys, man. Nobody saw this national championship being here. I know you've covered every single one of those bases, so I'm just excited for kickoff.
Man, we're in Cali, and we were having breakfast yesterday, and you had one take about the things in California. So I just want to, you guys don't know what Gary wanted to say. He said, I want to rave about this. So let it out, Gary.
And listen, I know Hawk lives here too, so I'm not trying to slander the state, but why does everything in California got to be different? Bro, Skubie asked for ketchup. They handed this man some stuff that looked like barbecue sauce mixed with like jelly, bro. I'm like, bro, whatever happened to just getting like some Heinz 57? Sometimes you just need some ketchup, bro.
No,
sometimes you just need ketchup.
That's code for wanting to try something new.
Man. Sometimes we just need some ketchup for our fries.
This is the analysis you can only get on this show. I don't know what that means one way or the other. What I do know is that I'll go get you some regular ketchup.
All right, thank you.
In the meantime, Christine is down there with Hurry and Hurry, and I think they've got guests at the other set. Let's see, checking in with them. I think we're throwing to them.
But I'm not telling anybody that. Don't. All right, guys, we are very lucky to be welcomed by two former collegiate football players. We have one Andrew Spencer and one Rodney Matthews. Now, these guys have gone on television and I don't know what you would call it, just played out their love life for everybody to watch. But now we're here for the CFP champion. They're Bachelor guys, okay? They're Bachelor guys. But now we're here at the CFP. You guys got to MC the playoff playlist, AT&T, Jonas Brothers situation. How is it being out here this weekend?
It's nice. You know, I'm from Chicago. I was expecting a little bit better weather, but I still can't complain. Just seeing all the fans, and honestly, there's a lot of TCU fans out here. Even though that's a small school, I've been seeing a lot.
A lot of purple in the stands. This is a dream come true for both of us. I know that.
You look like you're a Georgia fan, right?
Yes, most definitely. Yeah. So I played at Fresno State, but it's still Red Bulldogs. So go Dogs today. Okay, nice and easy to play that off. Everyone's been going for it, but no, I'm just so excited to be here.
Really, really quick. Y'all played the safety position. Georgia, has had some trouble in the back end the last few games. Yeah. How do they think they're going to defend today against TCU?
I think they need help from the D-line. Georgia's D-line has always been their strong suit every single year that they play. So, the D-line get cooking. I think the safety should be having a good day. Also, they got to control Quentin Johnston. He's a big-time player.
Yeah, no, I think that boy Ringo's going to bounce back. I love watching him play. And my boy does coach the DBs for Georgia. So, yeah, I heard that they're going to be ready to go today. It's going to be a big day, okay?
That's why we got the red on today.
I'm always supporting.
As I mentioned, you guys you guys have had your love life play out on television for everybody. So we're going to play a game. It's called Bump or Dump. You guys have both been dumped on TV too. So
numerous times.
You understand what this is? Okay.
Oh, bro.
You knew the dumping is?
Well, I used to do the dump.
You used to do the dump.
Okay, so we're going to play a game called Bump or Dump. I'm going to give you guys some things. You tell me if you would bump it, which means elevate it, or if you would dump it like you guys have gotten dumped before. All right. The CFP expanding to 12 teams in 2024. Bump or dump?
Bump. I was leaning towards 8-team expansion. 12 just seems like a lot. I feel like I would dump that.
You're going to dump it. Okay.
Well, I think you just got to lessen the regular season games. And, yeah, I'm for it.
You dump. Okay, so Georgia, I feel like I know your answer. Yeah. Georgia repeating as national champs. Bump or dump?
Dump.
Oh, my goodness.
Dump.
Georgia's winning today.
We're going to dump you off the 300 levels in a minute.
Wait, does that mean you don't want them to win or you don't think they're going to win?
I don't want them to win. I don't want them to win. No.
That's a different
house divided.
All right, TCU is still thought as a mid-major. Bump or dump?
Dump.
I'll dump that.
I was going to say, hello. Where are we?
They've arrived.
All right, and the final one, Jalen Carter going #1 overall to the Bears.
I'm from Chicago, baby. Bring him to the Bears, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Bring him to Chicago. Let's go.
That's happening.
That's happening.
That's happening. I got to bump that.
So our other set is going to do some game picks, and then we're going to come back to us. So guys, Fitz, who do you guys have in this game?
All right, guys, great job by you guys. I couldn't hear anything they said, but it looked awesome. It was.
We're going to trust that it was a great job.
All right, we're making game picks. I think that's what we're doing here, right?
Yes.
So we'll start with Gary, the esteemed guest, Gary Strike.
Yeah, listen, man.
Sports Center anchor.
Georgia wins, TCU covers. Next. Georgia wins, TCU
Gary's
covers.
so cold,
next.
he just wants to get out of here.
Yeah, bro.
All right, I'm going Georgia 37-30.
Georgia in a close game.
Georgia
in
wins,
a close game.
TCU covers.
You didn't give us a
Basically
score,
what
Gary.
Gary did.
Howard,
Huh?
give us a score.
38-35.
Oh, okay. 30.
That's a close
That's
game.
a close
So
game.
we're
That's a
good.
close game.
We're going over here.
We'll smash the over.
How's the TCU battle cry? Z-Z-Y-oo. TCU, let's go. I'm going with the Horned Frogs. Man, haters out there, understand that the Under Frogs are getting it done today, and I'm going with the under.
Hey, see,
we're going 24. 23.
What I tell you about California, everybody want to be different. Scooby's like, I'm picking TCU. He don't even believe that.
Let's go. Look, I love a good upset. I love working for Disney. When you work for Disney, you love storybook endings. I love Cinderella.
Let's go.
It's going to break my heart when that doesn't happen here because they're going to get bumped in. I'm just saying, I got Georgia big. I got Georgia 35-17. I got Georgia.
Hey, Disney likes sequels, too. Just look at Toy Story. All right, Georgia going back to back.
Now get it back to Christine. All right, take it away, guys.
Okay, Scooby, please stop saying underfrogs. We're over it. It's not working. I know. We're not doing it. Okay, let's start with Lyles. Who do you have in this matchup?
Georgia. Sing it with me, HD. Georgia. I'm going with the dogs, man.
I never heard you sing like in real life.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you
He got some pipes too.
I mean,
What
you know.
He got some pipes.
I didn't know that. We could have been singing this whole time. What are we doing?
Look, you know.
You got Georgia, right?
Go dogs. Go
All right.
dogs.
You got TCU. We already heard you throw some shade.
TCU's got my final row.
Okay.
I got Georgia 38-31.
All right, for me, I'm going to go, and I'm very mad that I have to do this because I just saw Scooby flex, and he keeps calling them the underfrogs. But I'm going to go TCU because the last time I chose TCU, they won, and that's why we're here. So, I mean, great game, great show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, this is our last show of the season. We're very sad about it. It's always great hanging out with these guys. You guys, thanks so much for joining us, and thank you guys for joining us.